As you know, I have been, doing all this talk, I call it Mel Talks, with all the friends who I admire for a long, long time. And this coming person, Dato Ramli Ibrahim, I think he doesn't need much introduction. He's totally a legend, a heritage of Malaysia, a classical dancer, Indian classical dancer, who was studying in Australia, mechanical engineering. Wow, that I didn't know. Then he joined the Australian Ballet School in Melbourne. And at the same time, he met his guru and became a very successful Indian classical dancer. I totally think that Dato Ramli, it's how all of us should be. He's like a perfect example of how humanity should be. Having the very tough, manly side of him, and at the same time, he can be a very soft person. You can see in his dance, his movement. It's just a perfect human being. How are you, Dato?
Good.
Good seeing you. You're always looking fabulous.
No.
Going.
You, saw you.
Right.
Okay.
So it's International Women's Week, and I thought, I've been talking to some of my friends, mainly female, and I thought, I need more men to speak.
Yes,
about,
definitely.
This. So what do you think? What is International Women's Day?
International Women's Day is one of the most important days for me and for the world, actually, because I think the plight of women and how we place women in the context of not just every day, but in context of what women have gone through all this time in a very patriarchal world is very important. And for Malaysia specifically, we have to look at the amendments of many areas of constitution, and I don't want to be too controversial in terms of Sharia laws and all these kind of areas, which I find areas, loopholes where there are parts where women, children, female can be abused.
Yeah.
And, there's such a vast area in that, but I shan't go through this. But as an artist, as a male artist, I have always appreciated the female principle as one of the most creative principles. Of course, the other one is the male principle. So we have always to look at both the male and female principle as a spectrum rather than a separate entity. And in a lot of works of the Asian concept, you'll find that once we separate them as two things, then we find a schism, we find a disconnect, and we have a problem. So from young, I've always been fascinated by the female principle. I've always, without reading or telling, have always associated nature with the female principle. I've always associated flower and specifically say the lotus as a creative principle, which is a female principle. In my family, my mother plays a very strong role in many parts of holding the family together, not just through the food, through the kitchen, but also through the linking of the various things and giving a kind of grace to life. And, in my work, because you mentioned that I wanted to speak about this, as a man, I have always acknowledged the female within me. And as an artist, I've always felt that this integration of the anima with the male principle is important.
Yeah.
To be totally or holistic in my approach to anything I do. Just as I think of women too, they need to acknowledge the male within them in order to complete. Yeah. So I think the abuse of one or the other, or the not acknowledging or not integrating this, and when we get older, we'll find that there is a knot somewhere. And I have seen also macho men become very feminine towards the end part of their lives, and very feminine women becomes very macho at the end part of their life, because of this lack of integration. And you know, you can see them in couples sometimes, and I always observe this. But also the metaphor of the, even say in Indian classical dance, you find that the female principle is called Shakti. Mm-hmm. And we Malays also, the word Shakti is there. Shakti is that force within. And in the concept of the Indian philosophy, without the Shakti, the gods cannot perform, cannot function. So it is the Shakti that drives the male principle to manifest in other things, you know. So in doing things, otherwise it becomes rather rigid, rather impotent.
Yeah.
So these are, you know, I mean, we're talking about metaphoric things, you know. So I think that integration of the male and female, and the fact that we have to recognize nature as the supreme female principle is very important in our lives. And I really feel that those patriarchs who do not understand nature, give respect to the environment, are also the patriarch, the male, who do not respect women.
Wow, your words are as beautiful as your dance, you know. The way you describe woman and man. Oh.
No, because I think eventually this is this thing, because as you see, nature is giving back what we give to them. You know, not all aspect of women are soft, and you know they can, like nature, hit back, and when nature hit back, you are done. And the same with women. You know, I've seen my mother lost her cool, and that's it. You know, I mean, if I don't sit back properly when I'm eating, you know, I mean, she will chubit me, and you know, I mean, she has that kind of other aspects of the, you know, benign. She's not just totally. I mean, she maintains, as we all know about our mothers, right?
Yeah, I'm doing the same to my kids.
Yes, exactly.
Be straight.
Exactly.
Do your homework.
Yep. But I do that to my kids too. I do that to my kids also, because whenever that I scold them, it's almost the female aspect of me that is that you get your act together, and discipline is discipline. You know, I mean, you want to dance well, you think everything is, you are entitled to all your things just giving there. And I dislike when my kids, especially when they're young, they do not pay respect to the older people. So I will really can just maintain that, and I will tell them, whether it's the male, female, or whatever it is of my students, you cannot make me a cup of coffee or make me a cup of tea, then you don't know what rasa is. You can't dance.
really? They have to learn to make tea and coffee
Yes,
first.
yes. And if it's not good enough, I will say take it back and improve on it. Rasa it first, and then yeah.
It's true,
And I know
right?
you spot your yeah.
That's great. So actually, my next question is probably you have already answered because it's like,
Yes.
what kind of women inspired you? You know, I guess. I mean, maybe you can elaborate a bit more.
Yeah. That's. I'm fascinated with women because for me, they are they are unpredictable. More than the men, they are unpredictable. And because I'm teaching, I have all the archetypes of women.
Yeah.
I have women who are extremely complicating. I have women who gives and gives and gives. I have right from young they do to do that. But of course there are women types also. Like in Mak Yong, there are the women who are the Dewa Muda type, which means they're extroverted, and there are women who are introverted type, the Dewa Pache types, who are more or less very complicating. The Dewa Muda, the extroverted wants a lot to be surrounded by people. They want to surround themselves with nice clothes, like you met them yourself in your context of being a fashion designer. But the other one is it's more difficult in one sense because they will always merendah diri, who will say, no, I won't look good in that. But actually they want you to say, you look fabulous in that, get that bloody clothes and pay that price.
Yeah, I've seen all kinds, yes.
Yes. So they're fascinating because as a choreographer, I study them. Of course, I study the males too, but they're less complicating than the female. But the female knows how to manipulate such that situation. They are for me not the weaker sex at all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I find that in Sutra we are surrounded by women, and as you know, it is interesting, but I think we need that injection of males also, because I find that the males in Sutra are being bullied left, right, and center.
Really?
Yes. No such thing as the female is a weaker sex in Sutra. I think the female are absolutely, they are the stronger.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, but this is why I celebrate the female in me, because then I know that, and I kind of that's the time when I understand that, and I try to balance that, because I think eventually, this is why the Buddhist way and said we must have the balance. We cannot have all female without enlightened male also side, or we cannot have a really kind of forceful male without the grace and the balance of the female side. There are many of this duality that we find in Indian concept, what they call the Prakriti and Purusha, the sky and the earth, the Mother Nature and sky, and all that kind of thing. Yeah.
Okay. So then how do you see women in today's society?
I think they have come a long way, as you know, Melinda, but I think they need to, I think basically nowadays, the realizing the potential, I mean, this is where the universal kind of, the universal standard that you would want. We want equal rights, equal opportunity, and all that kind of thing. And certainly in arts, I find that the women has been empowered in the arts. The women have been, certainly in Indian dance, women have been truly empowered by dance. And it is the men who have been neglected and who did not realize that the arts inject creativity in them. And by just going into the digital technology and artificial intelligence without the arts, I think some part of that brain of theirs becomes they're less sensitized.
Okay.
And yeah, that's actually the humanity part of it, and I think they have to be very careful. But I think women have gone a long way. In Malaysia, you find, of course, there's room for improvement, but I think women in Malaysia are quite empowered. So I think women in Malaysia and in a lot of Asian countries, you've seen how a lot of prime ministers that come from Asian countries, female from Asian countries, So I think if you are strong, if you are able to stand for your thing, if you are educated, and I think education is very strong, is very important. I think you can realize the potential. Women can realize their fullest potential.
Yeah. So you do see the progress in gender equality, right?
I do see progress in gender equality. I do see the progress. But I think in Malaysia, one of the setback, Melinda, is from the extremist fundamentalist religious thing that still, because even religious and spiritual views change. We don't want child bride anymore.
Yeah.
We don't want female circumcision anymore.
No.
All this kind of thing. By now we shouldn't be still talking about it. We cannot talk about human trafficking, especially women, by now. So these are the areas that the amendment of our constitution and the execution of those laws have got to be really done properly. But I think as far as I'm concerned, the Me Too movement, for example, was very good for the women, but sometimes it became over. Everyone is claiming that 25 years ago I was hassled by this man and all that. I've met friends who is like that. I've met my dancers who said that, I was abused, I was traumatized. The other day when I was teaching class with one of the kids, just to improve the posture, and I spoke to my assistant, Gitika. I said that, Gitika, just watch. 25 years later, this kid might be saying that she was traumatized because we told her to push up her back and that her spine will be straight.
Do you think in Malaysia we need more female leader?
Oh, definitely. I don't even have to think. I think the balance of male and female is very important. Look, I'm one of the most, I don't care, Malay, Chinese, Indian, or whatever it is, we definitely need more female leaders. I am waiting for us to have a female prime minister.
Yeah, everybody is saying the same. Me too. One day we should have. Yeah. I'm sure female leaders are allowed to be on board, right?
No, I think it is. I think there is nothing in the constitution that is saying that we cannot have female. I mean, if there is anything saying that we cannot have a female leaders, I think our feminist movement would have picked it up. Siti Kasim would have said, no, we must have female. I think there's nothing to say that we cannot have a female prime minister. But there is a stranglehold of male chauvinists thing in politics.
Anyway, hopefully one day.
Yeah, hopefully.
Good to try it out.
I'm one who will vote a female prime minister.
One done. One tick. Okay, what do you think are the let's say the ingredients that a woman should have, a perfect woman should have?
Well, first and foremost, it's education. And
Yeah.
I don't mean the kind of education that is, you know, I mean, now the education, which means degrees and all that. I don't mean that.
Yeah.
But education in a much more holistic manner. And I think uh, you know, I think one of the problem in the world at the moment, not just with women, but with everyone, is the over specialization of just one field. As you know, that, you know, I mean, we have to be so geared to our fields to go to the top that we forgot other areas, other areas, other we forgot the time to cook, we forgot the time to garden, and this is what the MCO has been very good at. But I think women and men also, education is one of the important area, and this is why I feel that in order to reset ourselves in Malaysia, one of the major parts is to improve our education system.
Yeah, I believe that too. I mean, education can be, yeah, like you say, not necessary to be diploma or degree, but you
Yes.
can learn also like skillful, you know, you can learn a lot of
Yeah,
like
but
skills.
I have parents, Melinda, who insisted that after a degree of a hard work to get a degree, that the kids have got to go into a professional field. I think they should travel for a short while, for 6 months, 8 months, or even a year. Then only, because traveling, I think, is one of the great educating barometer that you can have. As you know, travel
Yeah,
is very
yeah, I believe so. I've been very lucky.
no, because we cannot just, you know, people think that they can achieve everything from just looking at virtually at things. You know,
Yeah.
oh, I can have the experience of going up Everest and all that. It's not the same at all.
No, it's not the same.
It's, you know, I always find the online experience, I'm already quite bored with the online experience actually, because sure, it's going to be the future, but it's nothing like people are waiting to, you know, I mean, you go to a theater, the feel, the interaction with people, to see the things straight in front of you is nothing like looking at the performance on a big screen
Exactly.
yeah.
It's just like what you say, the rasa.
The
You have,
rasa, the
yeah, you
rasa.
have to have the actual taste of it.
Yep. The rasa. We must have the rasa. We must have the smell. We have the connection. The human connection is
The senses. Yeah.
Right.
All right. So, what is one movie that you really like and it has a female lead?
Well, I have not watched a movie for a long time now. You know, do you know that, Melinda? I don't even have a television. I've never had a television.
Really?
Well, yes. You know, when I was in New York or London, the first thing I do is to go and see a movie. I like art movie, and I never like the simplistic way of a Hollywood movie.
Okay.
So I tend to like a very arty kind of movie that look at the human dilemma, human problem. So I tend to look at Satyajit Ray's work, or I'll go for Almodovar, and where the character is not so simplistic. You know, you are not simplistic. I'm not simplistic in my, you know, I mean, we have so many facets apart from what we show in front of the camera. So I have not, you know, recently I can't. I just go now to the movie to, you know,
Support a friend.
support a friend. You know, I mean, Malaysian movie, of course, I see, but I find actors like Meryl Streep and all that more my kind of actors rather than a more beautiful. But though Jolie is a very beautiful work, Maleficent was a good movie for me, for instance, because she was both, and the way that a myth is turned upside down is what I like.
I think I should have asked you what, because I know you read a lot and
I
you go to a
do.
lot of theater. Perhaps your favorite, female or like a I don't know a theater artist.
No, then I will talk about my favorite thing work that I've done recently, an exhibition that we are going to launch tomorrow. One of the most interesting work that I did was on Durga, which is the female principle. And this is a very interesting work because she was a goddess that was she was a composite energy uh, that the gods decided to manifest when they cannot defeat this uh, demon, buffalo demon called Mahishasura. So, uh, so even Durga tried to kill him, but could not kill him. But this is the tantric aspect of Orissa, Melinda.
Mm-hmm.
Then she suddenly realized that she could only kill him at his weakest point.
Okay.
And that is when Mahishasura, the buffalo demon, sees her yoni. That's, to me, the patriarchal thing is giving back to the female thing, you know. So as as he sees her yoni, that is when she plunged the spear on her on him, on the buffalo demon Mahishasura. This is very important work called Mahishasura Mardini. But then later on, she realized that the gods have also insulted her so much that she has to expose herself to this demon, this brute, that she went again on a rampage. And she could only be stopped by Shiva in her Shava form, in her inert corpse form. And she was impaled by him. So you can imagine how mythically also the two forces, the male-female forces, is fighting and having an incredible encounter.
Yeah.
So that's the painting that I did, and you must see this.
Yes. I'll try to make it. Yes. Yes. Okay, women are very sensitive over their like pimples, wrinkle, or stretch mark and all that. Do you feel, this kind of imperfection annoys you? Like.
Oh, absolutely. But it's not just the women, even the men. Yes, but it annoys me that actually, because basically it's the whole narcissism is an industry, and we benefit from it, right? Because we want to look good. But dancers are the worst because they are forever looking in the mirror and all. So I don't have any mirror in my studio.
Really? You don't have mirrors?
Oh no, I don't have any mirror in my studio. They have to know their own posture and then, accordingly improve their posture without having a mirror, because they tend to look at the mirror all the time. All these classical ballet dancers especially are the worst. And that's why they become bimbos, because they are
Bimbos.
they are obsessed with how they look. They want to be as thin and anorexic as possible. So we know that. And that's why the modern dancers have a tendency to be more analytical, because, ballet dancers, they tend to be much more narcissistic. Because I know I was both in both ballet and modern dance. And modern dancers tend to be more intellectual, because they go later to the modern dance, later in life to the modern dance. So, but anyway, but I think at certain stage you tend to be a bit obsessed in how you look, and but it's a phase. You cannot be totally kind of balanced. I mean, you remember when you were young, and I remember when I was young. I was always scared how how I project, out. So I mean, I think parents have to contend with the teenage children or women. But I mean, I think say women who puts on who have to change their who use Botox or liposuction and all that. It's your life. You can do it, but get the right one.
Anyway, yes,
Well,
I believe so. I mean, men are equally, conscious
absolutely.
about
Oh yes, yes.
especially today, like you can see has skincare and
No, they go for all this extra things. I have friends who are
extra,
only
yes.
50. I'm about to be 70, and I don't think about that. But they're at 50. They're changing how they look. They want to have this and that. And I'm actually uh, uh, I'm not shocked, but I'm just like fascinated by that whole. Certainly I'm not going to pay that much money for.
Well, yeah, you look great anyway. You don't look like 70. No one would believe you. Okay, if you could change one thing to make like the life, of a woman better, what would you change?
But that's a dangerous question. But for me, this is the kind of irrelevant question, Melinda. What if this is, I mean, I think I don't want to change anything.
Yeah,
It's better for us to be able to understand it and and not even the word cope with it, but understand it and somehow come to terms with it.
yeah.
I think that's better.
Mm-hmm.
Then or else leave it.
Yeah,
I mean, leave it. Because there are other options,
yeah,
and go to where I I mean, I have like we have such a salon of nice friends or nice people because we choose those people that are of kindred spirit. So if someone, whether it's male or female, who is a little bit not in resonance with you, don't walk into that path. Go somewhere else. I mean, this is my philosophy.
yeah,
But sometimes we do clash. Then that's where I mean, to say that life is not about fighting also is wrong, because there will be time when you have to fight,
yeah. True.
and I have my claws too.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I asked everybody the same question. If you have a superpower, what would it be and why?
But this is the same thing. If I have a superpower, I never thought of that, but I probably you know want certainly not money, but want incredible wisdom to do always the right kind of decision. Or if I want creativity, I think I want things that money cannot buy.
Mm.
If I have a superpower, I want peace also. Peace for the world. I want the environment to be wonderful. Let's forget fossil fuel, for instance.
Yeah.
Things like that. I mean, get rid of diseases and all that. But what does that mean? I mean, um, I want, if I have a superpower, I want enlightenment. Not just for me, but for everybody, because there's no point having just one person who is enlightened, but everyone to be enlightened.
Yeah. I guess get rid of money and, power and just live in a very peaceful, relaxing
But then
environment
again, I
in the
mean,
nature.
supposing life is totally peaceful, it could be boring.
It's true as
Yeah,
well.
isn't it?
Yeah.
So we have to contend to be human, you know, whether or not we have improved in terms of our wisdom to cope with life. I personally doubt it. You know, we may have a certain, all this comfort, all the digital technology and artificial intelligence, but then with all of that, we can't even get a vaccine in time. We can't even, you know, I mean, we cannot fight nature. Nature will find a way. Even that virus that's supposedly to be killed with soap, we cannot fight it with all that intelligence we have. So you know, I find this is the great uh, the great enigma of life. You know, so there's no point wishing something that cannot happen.
Yes, 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 yes. Good. Okay. One last thing. Tell us what you're doing now. What is your goal this year? You know.
I don't know. I don't have a specific goal, but in
Commercial time.
a commercial time, well, you know, Melinda, like just like you know, we had everything that we planned was postponed.
Mm.
So I had a major production of Odyssey called Triple Frontiers, postponed right in the end, end of just before we opened. So now that we are open, we have to put this back again in perspective. And so, and we have to do it before fasting month. As we know, fasting month, nothing happens.
Yeah.
Everyone is asleep, or another kind of MCO happens in different kind of way. Only the hotels will be open because that's the time when people go for buka puasa and then really, you know,
Yeah.
enjoy themselves. But, you know, so say, for example, I was complaining to my administrator because we're trying to get a performance in Seremban and Malacca before fasting months. But I was speaking to the organizer, and the organizer is saying how, Ramli, everyone is terrified of going out, still terrified. Maybe KL, yes, but in Malacca or in Seremban, people are still terrified to go out. So, you know, this is the thing to bring back again the semangat of the people, the community. They always rely on the artists, because this is why I said artists are shamans. They are the one that brings back again the spirit of the community and eventually the nation back again, so that they are, you know, the bright side of life comes back again. People have been so cooped up, they're afraid.
Mm.
They're afraid. I have many friends. You have friends who are afraid to go out still. You are
Yeah.
afraid to go out still. And
Well,
all.
I'm not that afraid, but I believe the virus is everywhere.
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
you just have to keep the stuff very clean. But I know,
Right.
I mean, most of my clients and friends, they are very, very afraid to go out. They don't even step out of their house, you know.
Correct. Then, you know, once that semangat that is like that, we become less creative.
Yes.
We become less wanting to enjoy. I think this to enjoy life is a very important part of living.
No.
So it was difficult for us to convince, and I think it will take time for people to build up this again. And then, you know, the world, also the tourism in this industry, the tourism industry affect the hotel industry. And so that this is where the industry themselves are suffering. It's very difficult time. And so to bring back again our performances is difficult, but we are going to do it, even with less audience, but we have to have a start on that. Yeah. So we are
Somebody
doing
have to make a move.
yeah, we have to make a move. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very true. All right. So I thank you so much for taking time, and I do wish you all the best with all the projects that you have in plan. I hope to see you. I'm still trying to squeeze time in tomorrow, but anyway.
Hope to see you.
Yes, thank you. You're amazing. Really, you're so Everything you say, it's so beautiful. Just
Thank you.
words. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
You too.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Bye.